Hi there, mates. Silverfire here today, and today, welcome to another episode of Geek On.
The
Yay!
second episode
Well, the
because we
second.
haven't really done this in
Yeah, when
a
was the last time we even done this?
couple of months ago.
Like, yeah.
Couple months ago at least. So yeah,
So yeah, it's been a while.
yeah. We're doing this because mostly because the Rue and Fifth and K can't really make it for whatever reason.
Man,
Like K has to work. K has to work, and I'm assuming Fifth does too. And we haven't really had much response from Rue. But to be fair, I think he's also working.
man, to be fair.
So it's just me and Silver tonight.
Yep.
So we're probably going to discuss some topics and all that, and
Yeah.
see what ticks.
Anyways, basically, how this typically works is that either one of us can start like, oh, this would be kind of like a neat thing that we could talk about, or the audience, whoever's watching, if you are watching, can basically give us
Mhm.
suggestions on what to talk about, and we'll try to talk to them.
Give us a talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I know I'm not large enough to have something like that, but so we could come up with something.
You never know. You could get like that rogue. You could get that rogue.
Yeah, I could get that rogue person to kind of pop in and stuff. It's
hmm
it's always possible.
hmm We
Huh?
gotta have agree. Man, you know something we should really do?
What?
It, we should do like a schedule thing.
We should. You know what? I should probably work on that on my end.
Well, I can help. Like we can schedule like a certain day and time for the geek ons, and
Yeah,
a certain day and time for D&D sessions, and possibly other things.
yeah,
Like maybe we can have one shot Mondays.
yeah. Well, that could be fun. Uh,
Yeah, just what? Yeah, maybe on occasion we have one shot Mondays, and on other occasions we have geek on Fridays.
yeah. All right. I like this. I'll probably come up with something here in the near future.
Hmm.
All right. So, oh, I got a good one that we could talk about. Our
Yeah.
ideal version of the Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh yeah, that is a subject we have been discussing, huh?
Yeah, let's do
Like that
that.
is a subject we've been discussing in the background.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You want to start or you want me to start?
Hmm. You start.
All right.
I'm not very good at starting a conversation. I'm better at carrying one.
Yeah. One of the things, if you guys don't know what we're talking about currently, the Elder Scrolls 6, which by the now
Or
you
at
guys,
least our ideal version of one.
yeah, like what we would like to have or see. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. One of the things I would love to see is the class system introduced into Elder Scrolls 6.
Which one?
Like, kind of similar to the.
Morrowind or Oblivion?
Uh, I'll be generous and say both.
That's not really generous. That's just more like balance.
Yeah, I'll just say balanced. So with that
Mm.
said, hmm,
Well, with there being general knowledge that it's more than likely going to be somewhere around Hammerfell,
yeah, probably.
um, or possibly High Rock,
Which is more likely. I would love to see
right?
elsewhere though.
Oh, who doesn't?
Then again,
Especially when we have that huge DLC sized mod, Moon Path to Elsewhere.
yeah, I don't know. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, but honestly, I think I would be more interested in revisiting High Rock after Daggerfall.
Yeah,
And something I would be more than happy to see and make like a really old return is maybe a more simplified version of the Daggerfall system.
Ah, that could be something that we could see in the future.
Yeah, because if it's somewhere in High Rock, it would actually be a really fun not like a nod towards Daggerfall.
Yeah,
Because for anyone, Daggerfall, Daggerfall's RPG system, well, it's a lot more like an RPG system, and it was expansive and massive, and it covered just about every tiny little detail.
yeah, which is kind of how an RPG typically works. Looking at you, Bethesda.
hmm
Also,
But
uh,
yeah, but yeah, in Daggerfall there was actually languages you had to learn in order to understand anything. And if it was a sentient-ish creature, it had a language.
hmm, that
There
would,
was there was a more varied and there was a more varied array of different sort of like curses and transformations, I believe.
ooh.
For example, in Daggerfall, you can become aware.
Boy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I
But but there were also skills such as climbing, where you could actually scale walls.
Yeah, and that would be something that you would think that the Dragonborn in the Elder Scrolls V would be able to do, just climb over the wall
Yeah.
with no
Like
problem.
seriously, there's like a shit ton of walls. There's like a shit ton of walls in Skyrim that seem very climbable.
Yeah, like I can easily climb.
Like seriously, look at Whiterun for example. Look at all the shit in Whiterun that seems like uber climbable.
Yeah, I mean their walls are in massive disrepair. I mean, how that castle has not been raided, even with a civil war going on? Come on, guys, get to some siege equipment. Speaking of
Yeah,
siege
yeah,
equipment,
that is something else I would like to see. You see, like if there's gonna be like some warring going on that will involve sieging, I would love to see some actual siege equipment,
yeah,
such as rams or possibly towers.
yeah,
Even even ladders would be a really nice. Even ladders would be a nice.
and it would be historically accurate.
Well, not historically accurate. Well, it's not. I don't think.
Well, think
Like,
about
I
it.
don't think it'd be historically accurate for us because Elder Scrolls is a separate universe.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying historically, even if there was, if the terrain was too difficult for like siege towers in the Ram, ladders were used often enough to climb over the walls. Quite literally.
Right. So yeah, but and to be fair, High Rock is a more like centralized Europe inspired province.
Yeah. So we're looking at a decent terrain area that would be forgiving enough for some decent siege equipment.
But there would also be enough mountainous terrain to where you would be limited enough to where to use ladders.
Yeah. Which again, I think would be kind of
And
interesting.
again, and again, we're it's currently at a time where crossbows are in full effect.
Yeah.
So it's not too much to assume that there should be
Also,
some medieval siege equipment.
yeah, also, I want to make this argument. How the hell did the Dawn Guard keep crossbows a secret?
I know, right?
Like, that is so unrealistic. As soon as a person sees a crossbow, they're like, oh, what the hell's that? It's a What is that? Is that some sort of type of bow? And then once it fires, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to make something like that. So when you literally use it in Skyrim, there should be more.
Mm-hmm.
Not limited to the dog guard. I mean, granted, yeah, making a crossbow should probably isn't the easiest thing. I don't know how to make a crossbow, but if someone had enough ingenuity, which there has been literally hundreds of thousands of people within Skyrim alone that are blacksmiths that have been practicing the art for years, and people with enough engineering skills that, hey, they would be thinking, oh, hey, here's an idea. What if I had an easier.
Not to, not to mention, we literally got like the one guy who's supposed to be like the finest blacksmith in all of Skyrim, that
Exactly.
you can that who you can just walk up to like it was no like it was no other thing.
Yeah.
He's supposed. Oh, that's another thing. Make materials and stuff that are supposedly legendary. Like make like their mechanical stats and all of that and attributes, accurate to what they are described as. Because
Yeah.
in Skyrim, Skyforge steel is described as like this legendary material
Yeah, but
that's
it's nothing.
supposedly on the
But
same
compared
level as ore
to.
calcium or even heaven.
Yeah, but compared
But
to.
but it's just slightly better than normal steel.
Yeah. But compared to other materials such as like Dragonbone weapons or Daedric weapons, it's complete shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only slightly better than steel, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's like a point better than steel. Maybe two
Mm-hmm.
at most, depending on the weapon.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. If this material was so legendary, yeah, granted, I could imagine him cutting corners because he would have to make so much of it, but at the same time, you can't say that it's a
No, he
legendary.
wouldn't because no, he wouldn't because he's like the freaking companion's exclusive blacksmith or some shit.
Yeah. And let's just say
Like
that,
I'm pretty sure only companion. I'm pretty sure he only makes Skyforge steel stuff for companion.
yeah, and let's just say at most, except not including the Dragonborn, that there's about 10 companions at any given time. That means 10 swords, 10 armors. So this guy literally's got time on his hands. So,
Yeah,
legendary.
not to mention the companions are not exactly in a state of destitution where they're lacking money.
Yeah,
They are warriors for hire, so they ain't exactly hurting for money. So I
yeah,
don't know why he would have to cut corners
yeah. He wouldn't have to cut corners because there's not a whole lot of people there. Anyway,
and a lot of business.
yeah. I mean, even if it's just 10 people, he would only have to be able to make 10 armor sets and 10, weapons, basically. Not to mention
Mm-hmm,
arrows and whatnot, which all
mm-hmm,
do take time, but he could probably knock that out probably in 3 days tops.
mm-hmm. Not to mention, and oh yeah, something else I would like to see: a better combat system.
You and me both.
God, I do not want to be playing Elder Scrolls 6, and I'm just gonna be like left click, left click, left click, left
Yeah.
click, left.
Let us parry, God. Frickin'. Let us be able to parry.
Hell, there's some mods in Skyrim that they can take inspiration from.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Look at Wildcat.
Yeah. Also, make the enemies smart. Don't make them like hold their shields for like 10 minutes and never take a strike. A person.
That and if they got potions in their inventory, make them use them. Or
Yeah.
if they got access to healing,
Yeah. A per. A soldier. Let's just say that.
also make them use racial powers. Make them use racial powers on top of that.
Yeah. Because realistically, you're going to use everything you got. You
Mm-hmm.
don't always
Because they're
have
better than it.
to, but you can.
Right. Yeah, and I cannot. I am sick and tired of always like going up to some guy, orc bandit, that says like no one bests an orc, and then I just one shot.
Yeah. That's totally unrealistic.
Because even though when they could have very easily had better armor because they're legendary smiths and better combat skill, and you may have a berserk rage that gives them double damage and kick ass damage.
Eh. Let's just say hypothetically that even if they didn't have the best armor nor weapons, it's a freaking bandit. Even though, yeah, he could be easily killed by himself, he's gonna what he's gonna do instead of like attacking you if he thinks you're too out of his league, he's gonna go get his friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're gonna kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And probably whoever kills them probably gets the most shit.
More variety of weapons.
Oh yeah,
I would, yeah, more variety of weapons because hey, Skyrim.
and
There's a
magic.
thing. Hey Skyrim. There's this amazing invention called a spear. It's been the greatest thing since whoopty fucking do.
Yeah, I mean a spear is absolutely fantastic, and do you know how awesome it was back in the medieval age? It was amazing. Not only could you
Yeah, it was such.
throw
It
it,
was such. It was such.
but you can
It
use
not
it.
only could you throw it, it had amazing reach when you were using it in melee combat too.
Not to mention when you're doing a a basically
And I
shield
believe it.
box.
And not to mention it's all. And not to mention it was one of the few things that can pierce through armor. And
Yeah,
on top of that, was one of the few things that allowed you to easily deal with horseback fight,
yeah. And if you are getting
especially when
shot,
especially when they're doing a especially when they're doing a cavalry charge.
yeah. If there's horses in the
And
world,
there were even spears specifically designed for capturing that. They're called pike.
yeah. I would
Yeah,
love to
they were
see.
specifically designed to be super long and they're just supposed to be really long and durable. And
Yeah,
essentially, you would bury one end into the dirt and just plant and just keep it up and
yeah,
wait and just counter a cavalry charge.
easily.
But there are
Also,
also specialized spears for mounted combatants.
and and let's not
Some
forget
were
to mention,
some were even
that some of those spears were actually used for literal traps.
not and let's not forget throwing weapons like small like daggers and even smoke
Mm-hmm. I would definitely.
because because which is because like who because what makes a better assassin? Like what do you think like better for an assassin? Having like this big ass bow like that is like amazing has like amazing range, but it's like super large and clunky and damn near and pretty much impossible to conceal,
Yeah,
or a, or a small belt of throwing knives
uh,
that you can use to just throw with that you can use that you can it with enough proficiency can throw into the back of someone
yeah.
and instantly kill them.
If I had to choose between a
Because you
bow
can kill some because you can very much easily kill someone with a well placed thrown dagger in the back.
or a well placed weapon in general,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing about armor, there are chinks. I would like to see something
Yeah,
similar
but
in.
armor did armor did have some count. Like some armor did help with the whole sneak attack thing. You
Yeah,
know how in Skyrim there's that animation when you hit someone and you
yeah,
just go up and slit their throat.
yeah,
Well, guess what? Some armor, some even guard armor would have some bits in the plate in the armor and the actual armor itself
yeah.
that would cover the neck,
Such as
such as
frickin', uh, if you don't mind, such as frickin' chainmail. Come on, guys.
well, chainmail was not effective against piercing weapons. which is honestly the best way to use a dagger to stealthily kill someone
Yeah,
instead of slitting their fucking throat. That is the stupidest fucking thing.
yeah,
Because not only is that slower, it's also messier.
yeah. Your your idea is to be an assassin. You're supposed to stay within the shadows. Like if it meant the difference
And also
between
not get caught.
yeah, if it meant the difference
And
be basically being caught and killed because something like that would be, noticed.
right, you want something that if you're gonna kill someone, make sure it's instant, make sure they're isolated, and make sure it's clean. You don't want blood spraying out or oozing out like a slit throat.
If you have to do
And that's not even the point. And that's not even. And if you're going for a clean, you don't even go for the throat.
you go
Well,
for the
yeah, that
heart.
can provide a quick kill. Yeah, well, yeah, but
You
yeah,
go
well, yes, like a good pierce to the throat
yeah,
can kill very easily.
but you can
It's
also
not. It's
survive
not.
that.
Neither is it quick enough. Neither is it quick enough. But it's also quick. It's also very clean. Not clean. It'll ooze blood like no tomorrow.
Yeah. Even
'Cause that's where a lot of our
let's just say that we're doing like an encounter, for example, right? And let's just say you're playing
right,
an assassin, and your target
right.
just so happens to be a king who is being paraded through the town. How would you kill him?
Oh, I would use the crowd to blend in.
And that's
Like
something.
I would either use the crowd to blend in, or I would be up in some high perch with a crossbow ready.
And there we go. That have something similar to
Because
that. Like let us have a
and
legitimate.
here's another thing. And here's the other thing. Bows. While yes, they were powerful. They weren't the best stealth weapon.
Yeah,
Crossbows were actually a lot better because they were smaller and didn't require as much space to use.
and
So,
little
for
training
example,
too.
you can take up a sniper perch onto a roof and be like that, and still use it with a crossbow. But you can't really do that with a bow.
Yeah,
When you're using So in a situation like that, a bow is actually going to get you caught more. It's going to get you caught more times than not.
yeah. That plus, if you have to shoot around a very tight corner, I would take a crossbow over a bow any day.
Yeah, and not to mention a bow is very big and very hard to quickly run with.
Yeah, even if
While as a
you,
crossbow, you probably got like a little scrap for it and just like
yeah. I mean, again, like I said, I would try to blend into the crowd and then use a blow dart.
mm-hmm. or pos- or if my target is in the crowd, stab him give him a quick stab through give him like a quick stab through the spinal column,
Yeah,
and just leave him in the crowd. A blade in the crowd is gonna be a lot more like a
like
blade in the crowd, like a hidden blade in the crowd is gonna be a lot harder to detect than a blade in the dark.
yeah. But yeah, that's definitely something that we would like to see. I would like to see some kind of more of a forming of a plan instead of like you go here, you raid the place, and then you're done. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I would also like to see some strategy element.
Yeah,
Ooh, and possibly some kind of strategy, some kind of command system.
yeah,
Maybe like you can get, and like maybe you can get more, and oh yeah, companions. Make it to where you can get more than one.
yeah. Because who in their right mind would travel with just one person? If realistically, let's just say this.
You're you're gonna want a small party.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna want like a small party of like 5 or 6, bar minimum.
yeah. You would want someone that can
Especially
heal.
when I got
You would want someone that can easily defend and or the person that can heal, that can cast magic, which would be greatly useful, regardless of what setting you're
mm-hmm.
in. Speaking of, that reminds me.
and possibly even like a strategic command system, like
Yeah,
Mountain.
yeah, which would be amazing.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. better mounted combat.
Oh hell yes. The combat in Skyrim on a
It's
horse
very clunky. It's very clunky and janky.
and very idiotic. I mean, a straight blade against a person isn't going to do much. Well, it's going to do a lot on foot. But on horseback, you would want a curved weapon because that has a lot more force behind it.
Yeah,
That's
and not
why
to men-
that's why
yeah,
cutlasses.
not to mention if you're going for a cavalry charge, yeah, you're not gonna want a sword. You're gonna want a pole arm of some sort,
Yeah,
like
I
like a big stabbing pole arm,
and if you
such as
can't
a spear or better yet a lance.
yeah, if you can't get that and you're dealing with enemies with like little to no armor, I suggest a saber or a cutlass, not a longsword.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And what about more accurate travel conditions?
Oh yeah.
Because honestly, you're not gonna travel around in this big hot suit of like you're not gonna travel around in this big heavy plate of like a suit of plate armor.
Yeah, that's far
You're not gonna travel in that.
yeah, that's far too
Like unless
heavy.
like you're not gonna travel in that. You're not gonna travel in that unless if you're expecting trouble.
Yeah. And why would you be expecting trouble other than the occasional bandit here and there?
Right.
I mean,
And, and this is and we have no relation to him, but Shatterversity, he has a YouTube channel.
yeah.
He goes over the subject that particular subject very well. He goes over the subject of like what
I
is
like
the best armor for adventure.
yeah, I like Shadowversity. They're pretty cool guys. He's a pretty cool dude.
Uh, yeah, and he said, and I forgot what it's called because the name was complicated. But he essentially suggested this sort of really nice cloth armor.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Padded armor or something?
No, not quite. It wasn't quite padded armor,
What was it? I forgot.
but but it was similar. It was like it was like really thick cloth armor.
Yeah.
But like, but yeah, it's like really good. Like it keeps the cold out.
Mm-hmm. And it keeps you protected.
And it provides suitable enough protection.
Especially.
It's probably not gonna catch a stray bolt or arrow, and
Well,
it's probably not gonna hold up against most piercing weapons, such as a spear or possibly a more stabby focused sword.
yeah.
It is very effective against bludgeoning and slashing weapons,
Yep.
and it covered a lot more areas. And plus, it was vastly more comfortable.
Yep. Because why on earth would a person, let's just say it's a dwarf, for example, or a normal human, just traveling around in medieval style armor, let's just say it's basically full on iron plating. That plating has a
Mm-hmm.
pretty heavy weight. Regardless on how much stamina you have, it's still iron armor. Not to mention, depending on the environment, you could easily burn up or freeze to death with indie armor.
Because you're not going to be wearing clothes under that.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and they don't and something that and something that I love about Hearthfire is how accurate it is.
oh yeah,
Because a lot of the more metallic armors, such as iron or ebony, don't provide that much warmth or cover in
hmm
Hearthfire.
and they wouldn't. It
No,
provides protection
because
against
a lot of
weapons.
because a lot of armor like that, they like a lot of the armor like that was like that didn't have any like sort of fur covering or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of wearing a bulletproof vest in the middle of a snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't if you were only wearing that vest, you're going to freeze your ass off. Quite literally.
It would be it would be much better to just wear some like thick animal hide.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next argument.
thicker animal hide, such as winter pelts, such as winter pelts from wolves and even bears. Those are gonna provide plenty of warmth, and they would do just fine against arrows and swords and such.
Not to mention wool.
Oh yeah, because enough padding can block just about anything.
Yeah, and that's something I would like to see a little bit. Just a bit of like as a blacksmith thing, like a bit more of like padding instead of like just simply.
Oh yeah, and so they also. Oh yeah, back to the whole assassination. Back to a similar note to the whole problem with the assassination mechanics.
Yep.
Something I would love to see more of is like vital points.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because remember in Skyrim, you could nail someone in the head from like a couple hundred yards away with a bow and with like a dragon bow, like with like a bow.
Yeah.
Like you can just nail someone in the head, and they're like, "Oh, what was that?"
Arrows don't work like that. The
Oh
idea
God, no!
the idea of an arrow penetrating your head is a lot more damaging than you guys think.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows that, dude.
Yeah, but I don't think Bethesda does.
Eh,
Because if you get hit, let's just say, in the head with an arrow, chances are you're probably going to die. If you somehow survive that, well,
Oh man, yeah.
good luck surviving the
Honestly,
surgery.
there's actually a lot of mods that provide excellent coverage like this.
Yep.
There's an archery mod called the Archery Gameplay Overhaul mod for
Yeah.
Skyrim, and it vastly improves it.
Thank
First
Christ.
off, it fixes the arrows, so it makes them fly faster and farther, and actually gives them a spin
Oh, that's good.
because that's realistic, right? Like
Very
you would
realistic.
expect it to have like a bit of a spin. And when they penetrate something, they actually penetrate. They don't just insert themselves.
Yeah. If you get hit with an arrow, it's gonna penetrate your flesh, armor, whatever you just call.
Especially if it's from a longbow.
Yeah. But depending on what you're wearing, in some cases, the arrow wouldn't penetrate.
Oh yeah,
Depending.
a lot of chess pieces were specifically designed to deflect arrows.
Yeah. And that's why a
Like
lot of.
like it, if anyone has ever noticed that weird kind of line in the middle of the chess piece that kind of makes it have like that weird curve, that's why.
Yeah. Because it was made to deflect arrows. It's basically the equivalent of a bulletproof vest back in the day.
Yeah, but and it did its job pretty much 100% of the time.
Yeah. Unless you were like extremely unlucky, that's the only time you're going to get pierced.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of brings me into my other argument, vulnerabilities to other weapons. It is widely
Oh
known
yeah.
that if you wear heavy armor, hit the person with a mace.
Right, because axes and swords will do shit. You're
But
gonna break your sword and axe more than not.
yeah, which wasn't shown in Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which had a lot of plated
Mm-hmm.
armor.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to hit
Let's
this
see.
person with a sword,
Oh,
it would just.
what about magic?
Oh yeah, we need to discuss magic too.
Yeah, because magic was so fucking limited.
Yeah, I mean, unless there was a goddess of magic, which I'm pretty sure there is a god of magic
There's
within.
there's like there's several. Trust.
Okay, so unless they have a limit on magic, there shouldn't be a reason why there should be very basic spells that don't do a whole lot. I want to bring
Mm-hmm.
up a mod that basically redoes the magic for Skyrim. That's absolutely amazing.
Oh God, I'm pretty sure I know what one you're talking about. I forgot what it's called.
I forgot what it
I
was.
think it was like Cold Alchemist or something like that.
Yeah, and basically you're not only able to use more powerful spells, but you're also able to create your own spells to have your own style. And I would love to see something like that in the Elder Scrolls
They
6.
actually had something like that in Oblivion and Morrowind, but they took it out.
Yeah. Why? I wonder why they took it out.
Because it was very complicated.
Well, yeah, I imagine. But still, if something like that existed in your world before, it should still exist, regardless of what edition it is.
And oh yeah. What about the cells? Because remember, you can like look over you can look over the wall of Whiterun, and literally the outside just looks like a barren waste.
Eh. If a magical spell was able to accomplish something like that, there is absolutely no way that a man
No,
wearing.
no,
Hmm?
no. Like, you notice how in like in the game you can like go up to like the Whiterun wall,
Yeah,
and look over them, and there's just no detail. It's just a waste
yeah,
when it shouldn't. Fix that.
yeah. That's definitely needs to be fixed. Also, I would love to see more towns. Realistically,
No. I actually liked what they did with with the like towns and stuff.
yeah. I think they should make the cities a little bit bigger, personally, but that's just my opinion.
That's the one. Oh, obviously. Also, make them more populated. They're supposed to be cities, not settlements.
Yeah. Why is there like say I think if I remember correctly, I think this is
Like
Whiterun.
why is there like 20 to 30 NPCs in this city when realistically there should be like at least like a couple hundred?
If not a couple thousand.
And that's a little far. That's stretching.
Yeah, but that is kind of realistic.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, granted, there this is in Skyrim. It is a war, so maybe most of the people are out and about in the war. But after the wars,
Not to mention the limits of game design.
yeah. But after the war ends, even without the Dragonborn's help, where the hell are they gonna go? There's not that many houses.
Yeah.
Kind of a problem, guys. Kind of
Hmm.
problem.
Yeah. Also, I would like to see like a lot of like I would like to see more Daedric princes.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of
I
interesting.
I would love to see way more Daedric influence than like the one or two.
Yeah,
I would love to see way more Daedric influence instead of just like the one or two like maybe sub events and then maybe like the one quest related.
yeah, and I get that probably not a lot. Probably similar to the gods in that universe, they probably just don't mess around a whole lot. But
Oh no, that's literally their thing. They do nothing but fuck with mortals. The
but
Daedric princes.
if a if a Daedric,
Oh, and something else I would love to see. Something else I would love to see. Way more Adric influence.
you and me
Divines.
both.
I want to see the Divines do some shit.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Like, yeah, in the lore, they're not as powerful as they once were and not as present, but they still have a presence.
Yeah, and their presence is still known within that world. So represent that a little
Oh,
bit more.
and something else that would work. Don't make the character don't make the main character like the main protagonist.
Yeah,
Don't. Don't make the character we play as the main protagonist. Make the character we play as the POV character.
Yeah. Or the person that helps the hero. Make us not exactly a side character, but a helper of the main protagonist. Kind of similar to,
Make us Gimli to the main protagonist's Frodo.
yeah,
Do what
or,
they did. Do what they did in do what they did in Oblivion. In
yeah,
Oblivion, you weren't the main pro. In Oblivion, you weren't the main protagonist.
not by a long shot.
Martin Septim was the main protagonist. You were just the POV character. You were just the character we were seeing the story through.
Yeah, and I would love to see something similar to that in this effect. And I get it, that
Yeah,
in some cases, yeah,
like in Oblivion, you were a glorified fetch boy,
yeah. Also,
but you
more
but you were still
quests!
but you weren't the main. You weren't the main protagonist. You were more of the guy that helped the main protagonist in a big
Yeah,
way.
you're basically, what's a good reference?
Big Gandalf, like essentially in Oblivion, you were Gandalf to Martin Septim's Frodo.
Yeah, that would be fun and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sure, I'd,
And something else I would really love to see that I think would be amazingly fun: an apprentice system.
ooh, okay, I'm listening.
Because here's the thing. High Rock is very trade centric. Like a lot of the stuff they do is very magic based and trade based.
Yep,
And they are literally next door neighbors to Hammerfell and the Hightail and like the Dragontail Mountains,
yeah,
where and Hammerfell and again, like I don't see why you can't apprentice. I don't see why you can't apprentice under. Why can't you apprentice under someone? You know, like maybe become a blacksmith's apprentice
yeah,
to
that would
learn
be
more.
amazing.
They get better at blacksmith.
That would be amazing. Because you,
Like maybe do what they did in Fallout 3, where you start out as a child and you apprentice under someone,
yeah, that would be kind of fun.
and then maybe eventually as you progress, you yourself get an apprentice.
Yeah, which I think could be fun if they did it right.
Oh yeah, it would totally be.
Because I absolutely did love Fallout 3.
Hmm. And possibly a back and maybe even a background system. You know, like where you can like choose a starting background.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they would have to place a limit on the backgrounds. Of
Oh
course,
yeah, true, but yeah, just throw in some basic ones
like,
I'm for example, just like say for starters, say there's like three what is your status of birth?
eh,
Like and essentially you would have three options. You would have beggar, commoner, and noble.
eh. And of course, you can work the story from there, but still. Oh, speaking of,
Right. But you could also decide your starting skills depending on your backstory. You can shape your backstory a bit.
yeah,
So, for example, maybe you were of noble birth but you also were raised you were also raised to be like some kind of crusader of Stendar.
yeah,
Then maybe you would get some bonuses into restoration, block, and one-handed.
yeah, which would make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of,
Possibly you were raised by an assassin's guild.
yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
Like maybe you were of the common birth and were raised by an assassin's guild.
Oh,
Get bonuses to sneak, one-handed, archery, and alchemy.
speaking of, make more interesting NPC stories.
That too.
Like,
Ooh, yeah. Also, add some stuff that like add some secret stuff. For
yeah,
example, if you're playing through like some kind of assassin, like for example, if you're like a member of an assassin's guild, that maybe if you're part of an assassin's guild where oh, and by the way, I am repeating something that was said by Fudge Muppet. I'm pretty much quoting Fudge Muppet here.
go ahead.
Maybe you're a member of an assassins guild of Freemasons.
Yeah,
Like essentially, like you're an assassins guild of like escaped Masons because like in medieval times, Masons were killed after they were done building the castles because they knew the ins and outs of the castle.
yep.
So yeah, but so maybe you're the member of an assassins guild that started out as just some masons that escaped death, and maybe in order to get to your and maybe to get to your target, you use some secret passageways and stuff.
Or you can have that as like a thieves skill kind of thing too.
Oh yeah, some thieves guild stuff. Yeah, make it more pickpocket centric. Like add a lot more requirements that where you need to have pickpocketing.
Yeah.
Add a lot more lockpick, and also add some stuff. And also add some stuff like maybe like hustling market stalls and breaking shit in order to make someone cooperate.
Yeah. Where if you only had to
Do
do,
some blackmail. Do some blackmail. Do some interrogation.
yeah, because you're a thief. The idea is to steal, not just to rob people blind, but also to make them cooperate with your business.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
And yeah, and do what they. Oh yeah, and remember this like first, and like remember that one starting quest for the Thieves Guild in Skyrim where you have to,
never done again.
like where you have to like where you have to extort the three guys.
Never done again.
Yeah, yeah, we never really revisited that.
Or the time when we poisoned a winery. Never done again.
Yeah, do stuff like that. A lot of that was interesting.
Yeah. When you had quests that were
Do a
interesting.
lot more, and also do a lot more framing. Like do a lot more framing of people, like we did with Branche.
Uh huh. Which was amazing when you guys did some things that actually would be notable for a thief. Don't just make it a go here and loot 3 items. Oh, that actually you could just simply take by just walking in.
Oh, and again, if you're gonna, oh, yeah, back to the whole Assassin's Guild thing, add some creative ways to take out your targets,
Yeah. If a person is
and
paired.
also allow for multiple ways to take out your, and allow for some more unique play styles to take out your targets.
Yeah. What if you're
For
playing.
example, here's a great example: the Ordinator perk overhaul and Apocalypse spell pack.
Mm hmm.
Combine those two, man, there was infinite possibilities for assassination.
Yeah.
Hell, you could assassinate someone with pickpocket
Yeah. Ever
because
heard of a grenade? Or
yeah,
a bomb?
but in the ordinator pickpocket tree, there was a thing called Death's Emperor, which was a cursed coin.
Yep. Which
Yeah,
would.
do that.
Yeah, which would be interesting. It would be unique. It would be fun.
Also, allow for the taming of animals.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get some recon, like get a recon hawk, or maybe like a little wolf sidekick.
Yeah. I'm gonna be using a quick example. Ever heard of Assassin's Creed's Origins or
I'm very familiar.
or Far Cry Primal? where you can
All
actually.
right, I am extremely familiar with Far Cry Primal. I unfortunately am familiar with Assassin's Creed Origins.
All right, you know how you could able to use the eagle or hawk and they fly around the air and you can see through their eyes. Do something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to have, say, I don't know, a wolf or a dog, make it more interesting. Animals will run if they feel like there's too much of a threat.
Also, add a lot more illusionary stuff.
Uh huh. Because the idea is to trick your opponent.
Also implement a lot more lore stuff when it
Yeah.
comes to races. For example, maybe implement like a short side quest where you have to help like a small group of
Yeah.
that small group of Bosmer do the wild hunt ritual.
Yeah. Which would be kind of fun. Have the quests
Mm-hmm.
kind of linked together.
And you have to kill the resulting monsters from that.
Yeah. Which would be fun and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But here's another thing that I want to get straight off the table. Make more unique quests. Don't make it just go here, grab the item, and come back.
And don't make it go here, kill that, and come back.
Yeah, that is so stupid.
Or at least do a better job of it. You know, don't make it so repetitive.
Yeah,
Like if you're gonna do that same thing over and over, that same formula, at least add some flavors and twists to it, so that way it doesn't get repetitive, tedious, and boring.
yeah. Because as a DM, you have to try to make interesting stories, otherwise, you lose both the audience and your players.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to come up with nice and unique solutions and ideas with certain things. I don't just simply say, hey, you have to go over here to collect this. At least I'm making the players in my villain's evil campaign to work for towards it and not just a simple grab this and go there.
Mm-hmm. I'll be right back. I'll be back in like 5 seconds.
All right,
All right, I'm back.
welcome back. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but yeah. In fact, maybe something they should try. Maybe something that a lot of game companies should hire some professional DMs.
Yeah,
Like like hire some TTRPG DMs. Like I'm sure Matt Mercer wouldn't mind helping Bethesda with an Elder Scrolls title.
yeah. Also, can we get some?
I'd,
Can we?
I'd actually fucking love to see that.
I would love
I'm
to
just
see.
playing. I just finished Elder Scrolls 6. Like I'm watching the end credits, and like I just like see like a story written by Matt Mercer.
Oh, you know what would be amazing? And this is just my opinion. Having him act as one of your characters, if not one of your companions.
That would also be that'd actually be pretty kick ass.
Yeah, it's Sean Connery or Patrick Stewart. Have him.
Okay, I don't think Bethesda can afford to get Stewart a second time,
Eh,
and I don't think they can ever get Sean Connery. I'm pretty sure Sean Connery could give less of a fuck.
yeah. But still, could you imagine if they did somehow get those guys?
Mm-hmm.
How awesome would it be to have freaking uh, what was that guy's name in Star Trek? It's right on the tip of my head.
Captain Picard.
Thank you. How cool would it be to have Captain Picard as a companion traveling along with you?
Well, I don't think exactly Captain Picard, but
Well, yeah, not
I get your
exact,
gist.
obviously, but still.
Yeah. Also, I'd love to see some. Also, something else I would love to see a lot. I'd love to see something like I'd love to see something done with the Dwayne.
Oh yeah, that too. You guys literally have a gold mine right there.
Oh, especially for returning to High Rock,
Yeah,
because if you don't know, Daggerfall was very Dwemer centric due to the Numidian,
yeah,
which was essentially an artificial god created by the Dwemer and is ultimately the reason why they disappeared.
yeah. Have a little bit of an interesting quest center around them. If not, have that as the main
Maybe have a
story.
throwback.
Yeah,
Maybe have a throwback to the Numidian.
that too. I mean, you guys are literally sitting on a gold mine there.
Throw in some references to Mano Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Like a solid reference to Mano Marco would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Because in Daggerfall, you actually have the chance to fight, to meet, fight, and kill Mana Marco, the King of Worms himself.
Yeah, and that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what else? Oh, something that we were kind of discussing a couple of weeks earlier about about co-op options.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, do like a co-op.
That would be
Co-op would be
amazing.
amazing.
I mean,
That would be kick-ass.
I think at minimum, if you're going to do co-op, and this is just my opinion, have it at least two players. At most five. You guys don't need another MMO disaster.
Well, no, I don't think it needs to be an MMO. I think you can probably do it. I think something you could do is do it in a way similar to Unity did it,
Yeah,
to where like you can have, to where like you can like invite your friends, or just like have, or like where you can just invite your friends, or even have like a quay or a
yeah,
queue or like a lobby.
yeah. And if you
And
just,
and when you join that lobby, you can have like upwards from 2 to 5 members
yeah,
in that lobby, and each member does. And maybe when you apply to join a lobby, it gives you like a choice, like, and it gives you like 3 roles that you would apply to be.
yeah,
Like, and so you can apply to be a damage. So, for example, you can apply to be damage, tank, or support.
yeah. And then you could,
And depending on what role you pick to be in a lobby, it'll put you in a lobby with a party that could use a tank, a damage, or support.
yeah. Which would be amazing, because even though, yeah, you could be playing with complete random strangers, heck, I took a wild shot in the dark with my Dungeons and Dragons campaign all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as of recently. I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm not highly noticed or highly watched, which is probably true on my end, but still. I took a
Mm-hmm.
shot in the dark, and yeah, I met some really great guys.
Thank you.
But yeah, and I would love to see something similar. Also, push the talk button.
Oh yeah, I'll push the talk button. Oh, especially a distant, like a very, especially like one that's like in Friday the 13th,
Eh,
like the video game, because like because yeah, it has an in-game voice chat with the person, and depending on how far away you were from someone, changed how much you can hear someone.
yeah. Because you're not going to hear someone from one end of the map to the other. That's
Hmm.
physically impossible. Unless
But
it's a
maybe
very.
something else you can do. But something you can do is say maybe a caster in the party is maybe have access to some kind of telepathy.
Or, or the spells message or sending as examples.
Yeah, right. or just telepathy.
Yeah, that
And you can
too.
have like this that telepathic bond between all, and maybe you can like set up this like telepathic bond
Yeah,
between like you and other players. And maybe there's like a dungeon
or
where it requires the party to split up.
yeah,
Maybe there's like that, and maybe that one wizard in the party just like goes, "All right, I'm gonna cast a telepathic bond on one of you,"
yeah.
and they would essentially talk back, and they would give each other updates.
Also, please don't make it to where you have to do the same quest 5 times because that'll just get repetitive and boring real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
And also give multiple choice endings.
yeah, don't give us just a oh everything's gonna be okay ending. No, 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 no. Your actions have consequences.
Seriously though, I think they should just hire someone like, say, Esper the Bard or Matthew Mercer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Like they should do Bethesda or any other company that does like RPG titles, well, similar to Bethesda.
yeah. Get
Like
some people that
they
played.
should literally just hire people like Matt Mercer or Esper the Bard to help them write stories.
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, you guys want to have a company, and yeah, sure, you probably have a tight budget and whatnot. But you can hire, say, I don't know, a DM, any DM that's pretty good at what they do, such as Matt
Right.
Mercer
Right.
or others that
And right.
and they could probably help you write a story, and then you can make a game around that.
Right. Or just help make a story on as it
Yeah,
is.
cause yeah,
Honestly, that's something they can do. Is just literally is like I don't think they have enough enough story writers to actually have a good story.
yeah.
So what they can do is just hire some people that do that a lot of the time for a living.
Also,
Get Don get the Don Forge cast, or get Matthew Mercer.
I think we need to discuss the elephant in the room, the voice acting from Fallout 4.
Oh God, yeah. Do not make the player character a voice. Do not make the player character voice acted.
Also, if you're gonna do that, at least have multiple options.
No, no. If you're gonna make the play like if you're gonna make the player actor voice acted, don't actually give him lines. Just give him grunts. Just give him grunts and groans.
Yeah,
Do it like Xenoverse 2, like Dragon Ball Z. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. You
yeah,
know how they did it? They just recorded like several people doing grunts and groans, several voice actors doing grunts and groans. The
hmm
player character in Universe 2 doesn't actually say anything. They just have like grunts and groans, right?
yeah. Have it
But
something that's
but there was like several different voices that you could pick from that were
yeah,
different, and all it really changed is what your grunts and groans sound.
yeah. So
Because
when you got
if you
hit,
haven't noticed, if you haven't noticed, like if you've played Skyrim
hmm
and you've down like Fus Roda, like they don't really sound all that different. And plus, there's those times where you take damage.
yeah,
They do not sound all that.
yeah. So if you're gonna do that,
The only ones that sound are like the only one that sounds different are Khajiit and Orcs.
yeah,
I have literally noticed that the only ones that say like that grunt and groan different are the Orcs and the Khajiit.
yeah. Also, people have different voices and different sounds that they make when they get hurt or get healed.
Exactly. So do it like Xenoverse 2. Just have like a little like scroll down menu or a top down menu with different voice options that
Yeah,
have different grunts and groans.
but yeah, I don't think that the main character should be voice acted. You can have great voice actors around in the world, yes, but It was really kind of disappointing in Fallout 4 that the main character was voice acted. Because we can't imagine what that person now sounds like since they have a voice.
Yeah, and a lot of the time the appearance did not match the voice.
Yeah. So, for example, let's just say, I don't know, I was playing an African American in, say, Dungeons and Dragons.
Then and then you just sound like Norm.
Yeah, that is, well, yes, could happen, but a lot of people don't have the same voice that I do. Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, I may sound like someone else, or someone else may sound like me, but not everyone sounds the same, nor make the same sounds. So please, if you're going to make it the
Yeah.
character voice acted, just keep it to grunts and groans when they get hurt or injured. Oh, also,
Or when they do or they do something similar to shout.
yeah, which I don't think they're going to do in that one,
Right. Well, obviously.
because not the Dragonborn.
Also also do a dodge and parry system.
I think we already kind of
Do like
touched on that.
not really.
Well, we didn't really touch on it, so yeah, let's talk about it. Personally, if you're in a fight and you know you can't win, what do you do?
Well, no. What you do? No, if you're like this heavily armored person, and then do that. If you're like this heavy armored person,
And
you can't really dodge, but you're also durable enough to where you could probably block and or even parry or repost,
yeah, but here's the
maybe
thing.
even counter.
Yeah, but
But
here's
if
the
you're a more lightly armored opponent, you're going to be doing a lot more dodging and parrying.
yeah, which was very, very not in the Skyrim, because you would have to,
Mm-hmm.
because you would have to hit the crouch button, then hit the sprint button only if you have the skill to basically roll. And but that's so unrealistic. It's not that hard to roll. Yeah, it takes practice, but you could do it within basically a day.
Not to mention that doesn't actually work, by the way.
That true. But basically, if you were to, let's say, if it's a fencing match, which I think would be kind of an amazing a combat situation where you have to
Ooh,
pair.
do like a one-on-one. Also, do a one-on-one duel system. That
Yeah,
would
that
be
would be
also really cool.
that would be kind of fun, especially if you do the co.
Espe- especially if you do it in High Rock, because again, that High Rock is like loosely based around centralized Europe. So like centralized medieval Europe. So like Germany, northeastern France,
Yeah,
Hungary, and possibly Wallachia.
yeah, and guess what? One of the most famous groups of people were the Musketeers, who were notorious to take on some people one on one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also do a disarming system. Also do like a disarming system.
Yeah,
Because there were a lot of weapons specifically designed for parrying and disarming your opponent.
yeah. I forgot what the actual sword is called, but it looks like a sword with like a bunch of keyholes, and basically what the soldiers would use the sword a lot to basically stop the enemy soldier's sword and then break it, if not fully disarm them.
Yeah, there was a lot of that too. That's specifically why sides are designed the way.
Yeah, it was an amazing weapon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, something else I want to see. A lot more Akaviri influence, or Blades influence for that matter. I want to see a lot more. I want to see like a lot more like people secretly being Blades or having Blades gear.
Yeah, like you could have a museum quest to where and as much as I hate to say this, a fetch quest to find Blade's armor, but make it to where it's an
Mm-hmm.
interesting encounter instead.
or maybe you're trying to catch a thief that stole some Blade's armor,
That
and
too.
now you gotta fight that, and now you gotta fight that thief in the Blade's armor,
That enters.
and maybe it was damaged in the fight, and now you gotta go repair it.
Yeah. Or
Either yourself if you're and either you repair it yourself if you're talented enough in smithing,
hmm
or hire someone to do it.
or pay someone to do it.
Hmm.
Oh, something I would like to
Also,
see. Your weapons and armor degrade over time if you don't take care of them. I would love to see something similar to that effect within the Elder Scrolls 6, because I love the system in Fallout 4, because if you got hit or shot your weapon too much or hit your weapon on a certain thing for too long, it breaks, which is
hmm
super realistic.
something else I would like to see: more in-depth enchantment.
Yep. The enchantment system.
Something else, and you want to know something I would love to see more?
What?
Spell enchantments,
Oh,
like
yes.
enchantments on certain weapons that allow you to cast a spell without casting the spell.
Yeah.
For example, you swing a sword, and as you swing that sword, it casts firebolt out of it.
Yeah. Or does the guts that
Or you're
catch.
blocking with the shield and cast a healing spell on yourself.
Yeah. And it kind of was lightly touched in the Skyrim, but it just felt so underwhelmed.
And bare bones.
Yeah. Like it looked like they just stood up the skeletal frame and they're like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And also have some charges on those weapons. You know, if you use it too often, it
Good.
actually could break.
Well, ooh, ooh, and maybe the enchantment also provides some extra durability for said weapon.
Exactly.
And maybe you can even get an enchantment that makes the weapon indestructible and or non-degradable.
Yeah. Which is true in Dungeons and Dragons, because there are spells and magic that allows that, but it's rather expensive to get something like that. You're not just going to exactly find that lying
Yeah.
around.
And enchanted armor. I do like what they did in it with it, enchanted armor in Skyrim, where when you enchant it, it doesn't take a charge. I
Yeah,
still would like something a little extra than to that,
yeah,
like make it to where you can't abuse that. Make it to where you don't where you can't abuse that.
yeah, because there is a certain way to where you
Because
could basically.
I know of a way to where I know of a certain way that you can abuse the shit out of that.
Yeah, there's.
Well,
And there's no.
also less, and also way less game breaking glitches and
Yes,
bugs.
please. Look, guys, you guys are a game company. And the idea is to have a working game before you release it, not a broken one.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff in Skyrim was broken until it was fixed by the modding community.
And it still is broken.
Hmm.
Like, outside of the modding
Well,
community.
unless if you get U Sleep fixes a lot of a lot of the bugs and shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Oh, and make sure there's no exploits.
Oh, speaking of, no paid mods! Come on, guys!
Hmm.
Seriously?
By the way, good use of speaking of when I said exploits. That was a very good use of that.
Been saving that one for a while.
Hmm.
But still, I absolutely hate paying for mods. 100%.
The entire point of a modding community is so that way we don't have to pay for a fix.
Yeah. And if your game is good enough, a lot of people aren't going to mod. Yeah, there are going to be a group that do mod to improve or have something unique within the game if it's, missing.
But they do it. They upload it and let you download it for free.
Yeah,
Like the only thing money related that they ask for is a donation, so they can do more amazing work. Like
yeah,
so, for example, if you don't have that much money, don't worry, you can still get the mod. But unfortunately, but if you do have money, then you can support the creator so he can make more amazing stuff like this,
yeah,
or even improve the mod.
exactly. Which is something I want to kind of address. Because the modding community wouldn't have to fix y'all shit if you had it already done and completed on the day of a release. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's always gonna be a room for mods. Heck, there's mods for RimWorld, which is a completed game that I've played a lot. But the reason I have mods on there is just to kind of expand upon it.
But yeah, here's the thing: mods should improve or add something to a game, not fix it.
Yeah, a modding community is supposed to add on, if not add an extension. It is not a fixing
Or improve.
company.
Mm-hmm.
Cause let's just say that let's just look at Fallout 76. That just
That's why the one. That's why the one line. That's why that one line in the Todd Howard "It Just Works" song pisses me off.
yeah,
I felt like, yeah, just make a game with a lot of bugs. Bugs. A lot of the modders are gonna fix it anyway.
they shouldn't have to.
The fans will fix it anyway.
They're
Like that pisses me off
yeah,
when he says like, yeah, let's just send out an unfinished buggy mess. The fans will fix it anyway.
and not
Like
to
the fans will
mention,
do our work for us.
and
The
not to
fans will do our work for us. That's literally what he said.
yeah, and not to mention that Todd Howard, the leader of Bethesda, has actually
You mean God, Howard?
yeah, has actually banned modders for Fallout 76. You
And to
do,
be fair, to be fair, banning modders for an online game is actually quite reasonable.
yeah, it's reasonable unless your game is completely broken.
Yeah, but again, it's an online game where it has like servers
Yeah,
and is connected to the internet. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be okay for you to mod that.
well, yeah,
Sure if it's an offline game or just like a private game between two people, then yeah, it would be okay to mod it. But if it's just like something that can have a server,
yeah.
just
Which
like one big
again,
server,
I
yeah,
understand why they did what they did, but still, at the same time, it's like they've been fixing your shit since basically Fallout 3, Skyrim, and etc.
yeah, we've been doing your job for you, Bethesda.
So get off y'all's lazy asses and do something. Coming from a guy that lives in his house, lives with a family. So, anyways, moving on from that. What else should we talk about that our ideal Fallout, not Fallout, Elder Scrolls?
I'm really out.
I I think we covered basically all the general
Yeah,
ideas,
I'm kind of wanting to go to bed here.
and I think we should end it here soon. All right,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I think that's a pretty good episode right there, and I think I got a name for it too. Our ideal Fall Elder Scrolls 6.
Us bitching at Bethesda.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure YouTube would tear that down as quickly as soon as uploaded.
Us nitpicking, but
Yeah, and again, we're just a couple of nerds and geeks
complaining about Bethesda.
Yeah. And this is just simply our ideas what they could do for Elder Scrolls 6.
All right, here's the title: Two dudes complain about Bethesda
We'll see. We'll see. All right, I think we're gonna.
and are sick of their.
All right, I think we're going to end it. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please do what you guys do. And man, um, I'm tempted to really make the joke "it just works," but I don't think it's gonna work here.
Oh, don't worry, I'll make it for you. It just works.
Anyways, and I'll see y'all mates next time.
Ah, it just works.